If we got a show for you. Lil Sean. Broccoli, celery, gotta be VeggieTales. Lima beans, collard greens, peachy keen, VeggieTales. Cauliflower, sweet and sour, half an hour, VeggieTales. VeggieTales, VeggieTales, it's time for VeggieTales. Throwback, Sunday.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Michael Ruffino.
And I'm Liz Brody.
And have we got a show for you? Liz, this is a bright spot.
I watched this with so much just like the sighs of relief when I saw the countertop. I was like, oh, we're back. We're back, guys. We're so back.
Like we're still, there's a little bit of magic left.
There's so much magic left. I was so excited.
And speaking of magic, we found a magic man to be our guest this week.
Does that mean?
That is
okay,
you, Matt
I never know.
Davis.
Sometimes people refer to me as a magic man. Sometimes they don't.
It's the wizard beard.
Yeah.
It's the wizard beard?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is?
Yeah.
I don't
Matt
know.
Davis is neither late nor early. He roasts precisely when he means to.
Correct.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yes, Matt
Yes.
Davis, comedian, world traveler, smart person.
Oh, wow.
I'll go.
Keep going.
Community organizer. I think it's fair. Comedy organizer.
Professional problem.
Yeah.
I like that.
Professional good trouble involver.
And yeah. Poker of Bears.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? is that a title you can have?
I like that. Poker.
Poker of Bears.
I hardly even.
Hardly even growl.
Yes. Somehow he agreed to be on our VeggieTales podcast. I don't know how it happened, but I'm glad that it did, and I'm glad that he agreed. And
What do you mean you don't know? You threatened my life.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Every time we're so glib and we're like, it's just about vegetables, I want to like remind us about Noah Cannon telling us that we take the vegetables seriously.
We kind of do.
We do take the vegetables seriously.
And I do tell people who are perhaps interested in being or don't know if they want to do it, or don't know anything about VeggieTales, I just tell them, if you have serious opinions on animation, vegetables, or God,
Right.
you're there. We're
Pick
here
one.
already.
The old triumvirate.
Yeah.
I believe is what it was called.
I mean, that is the basis of most of Judaism.
Yeah. Matt, have you ever heard of the Christian animated CGI video series known as VeggieTales?
Have I ever heard of it? Yes, I've heard of it.
What's your familiarity with
I watched an episode to come on this show
today?
No, I had seen it before, but not like actually tried to watch it. Right, I had seen it on. I had heard it discussed. I knew more about it from the animation side. I knew more about it from like the stuff they were doing animation wise was pretty groundbreaking, right? So, and I knew that of it. I knew that there was some Jesus somehow in the salad. Is that the term they use?
Yeah.
But I had not sat through an episode intentionally watching. I knew there was a sprinkle of, a little, a touch.
Protestantism in there.
Yeah, it's definitely Protestantism. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
There's a little bit. Fun fact: the creator of VeggieTales' mother was a big pioneer in studying and researching kids ministry, and she laid out rules to him right at the start of the show. Rule number 1: you will not portray Jesus as a vegetable, and they haven't.
which is a shame.
You can't crucify a vegetable.
Sure, you can. You can bind a squash to grow in any direction you need it to.
Jesus is a square watermelon.
And then the second thing she said was, you cannot imply that the individual vegetables can be saved.
Oh, interesting.
That's,
so
you know.
so the
Canonically,
vegetables.
they are all damned, yes.
Yeah,
Well, I
that's
think they go
what.
to purgatory, or they die
Not if you're
pets.
Protestant.
Not if you're Protestant. Maybe they have
It's just a straight trip, right?
Wait, is
Protestantism.
there purgatory in Protestantism?
I'm
No,
pretty
there's
sure
not.
that's a Catholic thing.
I'm assuming that
The old waiting room.
Yeah, maybe
No.
like an annihilationist afterlife for
But
the
is
vegetables.
there no waiting room in Protestantism because the devil works in idle hands?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. You just, I mean, if you're
Learning
there, you're there. That's kind of where they're at.
That's why I'm going annihilationist. Once produce goes bad, it's gone forever.
It's gone forever.
You can compost. You can make a soup.
Compost soup, delicious.
Throw it at terrible performers.
all of the work of the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Composting, soup.
Soup.
These are all things for the Dark Lord.
Satan does love a nice split pea.
Well, so if you're passingly familiar with vegetables. How do you feel about God, Matt?
Who? Which one?
We'll general variety. Which
General variety.
Not
That is
garden
not. That is
variety?
not an answer.
Let's go with the Abrahamic one.
The Abrahamic one. Okay, fantastic. Which one?
Well, I'm going to get doctrinally thrashed in our emails, but people of the book, technically,
I understand that. I understand that.
worship the same God, the God who appeared to Abraham, and then Liz is a bit of contention between me and Liz.
And
Sent
keep
his
in
son
mind,
to earth to preach the gospel
Yeah.
to humanity. Now, this is a
As-
point of contention between me and Liz.
as a Jew with a degree in this, I
Less of a point of a contention, more of a correction.
will
but go
say
ahead.
once we start getting into the extended universes, it's not always canon.
Yeah.
Well, I do consider the Book of Mormon to be the weird sequel trilogy that had a lot of corporate.
That's the animated. Larry Boy.
The Book of Mormon is clearly fan fiction. I don't know why you would think otherwise. It's clearly fan fiction.
I'm pretty sure J.J. Abrams conceived the plot of the sequel trilogy the same way that Joseph Smith saw the movie in the hat and just dictated.
From huffing ether.
Yeah.
You think they both did that? My favorite has always been when you get into just the Christian line, then you get into the Protestant line, right? And then, which is what you nowadays you get King James, right? That's the go-to. I don't know if you know that. That's the big one.
I only read from the Gay Lord's Bible.
Well, see, that's where I'm more Wycliffe, but whatever. Everybody go do their own thing. But I love that point, right? Because you go, well, what's your favorite? What Bible do you go by? Someone says King James Bible, all right? And my favorite replies, which one? Because there have been edits,
Right.
Major editions. The Oxford re-edit being one of them. And then they'll go and they'll look and they'll say, oh, it's this one, whatever. Okay, cool. Which one? Because is it with or without the apocryphal? Because it's still a different one. And they don't know, right? They have to go and look which Bible it is they've been carrying around, to which I like to point out that my 7-year-old nephew knows more about Star Wars, which he claims is the greatest thing ever, right? But you claim this is the greatest thing ever, and you know less about it. Mm-hmm. So that's basically my thoughts on God, I think. Other than the fact that there is only one true God, and that is the God Allah of the Quran. But I get paid to say that. So
We're all looking for our sponsors.
I don't know the Muslims paid that well.
They don't.
Do you have a personal religious background at all? Were you a church goer? Did you leave at one point? And that
no. So I'm not a church person. No, I didn't grow up really going. I mean, you went as a kid to this and that, right? With grandparents or with people you stayed with, like for a sleepover, and then you're magically Baptist for some reason. Never understood that.
Baptist for that morning.
Yeah, I was just here for pizza and staying up late and sleeping bags, and now all of a sudden we're doing what? Always confusing. But beyond that, no. But did read them. I went down the New Testament rabbit hole and then the Old Testament rabbit hole, and then the Quran and the Book of Mormon.
I have to ask,
And
which ones? Which New Testament?
that's the thing. I went down the rabbit holes.
Oh, so how many did you try to catch them all?
Yeah, I tried to catch them all. I Pokemoned it. I went pretty heavy into it.
There's a new version I'm getting for Christmas, I believe. So you have to catch up.
Oh man, see that's the thing.
There's another
it's
revised
just
edition.
it's getting ridiculous with the spin-offs.
Well, they got to keep it updated, right? It's like Grey's Anatomy. It's like there's a new this is a new word.
It feels
translation.
more like Law and Order. You know what I mean? It just feels more. It feels more Law and Order than it feels Grey's Anatomy.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a fair. I've never watched Grey's Anatomy. I'm just making statements.
I'm talking about the book Grey's Anatomy.
I've also never read any of these religious books. I'm just telling you what's in them because I am a minister. No, I find the subject of religion to be fascinating, but I am not a religious person. Is that an answer? Is that an acceptable
Yeah, it's
answer?
perfect answer.
But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Bast, the Egyptian, the one that they shifted to, and all of a sudden it was like cats are cool, and then their whole thing collapsed. You know what I mean? Because that's funny.
Well, also part of the reason.
Also,
that the whole-
internet, mostly cat memes. About that time, things started falling apart. I'm just saying, cats.
Sourdough did make a comeback.
Yeah, but how did cats fall
For my
Rome?
deep cut Egyptian fans.
Yeah, that was
Did the Romans like cats so much that their empire fell as well?
not cats in the way we would say it.
Wait, the cats are the lions? Is that? Coliseum games.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Little bit of a touchy subject among Christians is the
I'm,
is that? What's that?
be thrown to lions.
It's
Oh.
fine. My inner ancient scholar is buzzing.
One of my favorite little places traveling wise is a city in Macedonia. Don't worry, this is going to make sense. Ohrid, Macedonia, which is on Lake Ohrid, right? So you're just kind of north there of Greece, right? And in Ohrid, Macedonia, up in the hills, they uncovered an amphitheater many years ago, right? Excavated this ancient amphitheater. Dates back to the Greeks, right? And Ohrid is a fascinating city in and of itself because, like, the Greeks were there, then Romans are there, Ottoman Empire is there, right? And in that amphitheater, they had, the Greeks did plays, right? The Romans, like they say, fed people to lions. That kind of stuff happened there, right? And then after they excavated it in, like, the big tribute thing, now that it was open, Lenny Kravitz played there. And I'm like, look at that, just all the tragedies. Just one. No offense, Lenny Kravitz. It's just only funny to call it a tragedy. Sorry.
One horrible performance of American Woman after another.
Yeah. You can't really bag on Lenny Kravitz too much. He's like 60 years old and he's just shredded.
Yeah. And did you see when his pants split open? My God.
No. I did not. Keep going.
I have to watch TMZ twice a day, so.
Okay.
I did. It was blurred, but it was a large blur.
I'm sure people were excited about it.
It looked like Lenny Kravitz was kind of excited about it. So I had not seen this before now.
What?
Okay.
This was one of my blind spots. I had seen the episode before this one. I had seen the episode after this one. As a child of 7 when this came out in 2003, had not seen it.
How did you miss Autotainment?
It was
Easily the most
revolutionary.
revolutionary of all the episodes. I've seen
predicted
only
the future.
Yeah, well, I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I was trying to make the case that this is like the one episode that means the most because it's the only one I've seen. But
Having seen it now, honestly, this episode is kind of like if you wanted to introduce someone to the concept of the VeggieTales characters,
Yeah.
this is kind of the one to do it. Because
you think so?
Because it's not like most episodes, it's completely against the formula of every episode of VeggieTales prior to this one or since.
That's unfortunate to hear because I was in.
Yeah.
Like if this episode was what the show was, I was like, this is pretty out there. I'm for this.
There are elements of the silliness. Of course, there are silly songs, but usually an episode of VeggieTales is built around Bob and Larry, Bob the tomato, Larry the cucumber,
Duh.
on a kitchen countertop, getting a letter from a child with a problem that the kid would have. My sister doesn't share her toys. I have a new friend who my parents are trying to make me be friends to, but I don't want to be friends with him because he's weird. Things that kids would say, or problems a kid would have. And Bob and Larry then take the episode to tell a story, either from the Bible or not from the Bible, kind of like a parable to explain the moral, how the answer to this question. And then at the end of the episode, they go back to the countertop and they say, oh, it was a fun episode. They flash up a Bible verse to be like, in case you didn't get the moral of the episode, this is a quick snippet of a Bible verse that like a 4-year-old could kind of remember and take home with them. And then they end the episode. Usually there's a silly song in between the act break, and it's like a fun half-hour video.
Is it always a Bible verse at the end, or do they ever like just throw like a David Bowie lyric in there?
I'm sure there have been pitched David Bowie lyrics, but no, they're usually Bible verses, Old or New Testament. I don't know which version.
I don't.
Yeah, which one of the? Yeah, what's their go-to?
It should be like NIV, your standard New International.
Yeah, New International.
So a lot of the episodes that I watched as a kid, we watched on just like public television, as they had more like secular cuts. So they would have like more of the like moral tales, especially some of the like earlier episodes that were like morality plays, more or less, rather than like a direct Bible story. And a lot of times that like Bible verse at the end would be cut, and then they would go like straight to a moral, or they would play like the "So We Have Learned" song, and then it would just be like the moral at the end of it. That Bible
and they wouldn't throw the Bible verse on there.
Yeah, so it would be like I said, there were a lot of like secularized edits. So that was a lot of like what I had watched, and a lot of like the VHSs that we had were like the TV edits. So a lot of the episodes do end with like a New Testament quote. So there's part of me that's like, maybe we did have some that had the New Testament quote. It just didn't register with me, and I didn't like ever really think about it or care about it. But I know some of like the Madame Blueberry that we had didn't have that like full countertop scene at the end, and like there are a couple that I'd like watched on TV, and I was like watching them here, like rewatching them for the first time now doing the shows. So for me, some of it's like the first time that I've seen that like ending Bible verse, and I was like, oh, that's what was at the end of this episode. Okay,
that it's like getting a copy of Goodfellas in Qatar. You know what I mean? And you're just like, yeah, I've seen Goodfellas, and it's like, no, you haven't. Like, you're missing some key points.
Yeah.
Some key things are
like,
missing.
I feel like when you grow up like watching like the TBS like TV edit of movies, and then you like watch the full thing later, and you're like, I don't remember 5 of these scenes, but like I know the plot. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or there are even just whole chunks where they reanimated a new beginning, a new ending to the episode to cut out the whole.
Yeah.
They would add a different question
Because of the gore?
Yeah, because of the
All the ketchup.
all the horrible various curry sauces.
I'm still stuck on the fact that the vegetables can't, like, their souls, they can't be
cannot
sent.
imply that they have eternal souls and can go to heaven, even though, as you will discuss later, they do pray. Evidently.
They do pray.
Oh yeah.
The asparagus prays.
Just in vain. Wow.
You know.
So sorry.
Sorry, that's me. Sometimes I make cat noises in the distance.
Our Liz is a regular Saint Francis of Assisi, or of Upper Irondale.
More of a sissy.
Anyway,
Were you sissying that sit? What was that?
Yes.
Okay.
So, defying formula, there's no theme song on this episode. There's just the white void from the.
It's very what's that episode of SpongeBob where everything's chrome?
Yeah, SB129, the future.
Yeah.
Well, there's no theme song, but then there's a theme song. That was kind of like the right.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Are we not supposed to do that?
I don't know. Are we?
This is your show.
But things are being my expectations are being subverted already at the beginning, and then they're being double subverted to be oververted.
To be verted.
To be verted. Adverted. We're gonna go with that. And Bob and Larry emerge into the void from a door, like the Dark Tower, and they say, "This is the future, and today we will discover the future of entertainment." It is Autotainment.
Autotainment. Creepily prescient. Like Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Nostradamus level prediction here.
I get the sense that because this came out in 2003, so I get the sense, even though this is probably not the case, that they were making fun of like Homestar Runners random, or not Homestar Runners specifically, but webcomic and web animation.
They would never make fun of Homestar Runner because game respects game. But no, it's
like
almost
the random humor.
I was gonna say it's kind of I see the origins of it being almost like, because also, sorry, I'm going to defend Homestar Runner. Homestar Runner's humor was never random. Let's get that straight. Everything was purposeful. I was going to say it's almost in the vein of that, like, very almost like Robot Chicken. Like, you're kind of like flipping
Newgrounds.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say Homestar Runner is not LOL random humor.
Right. This, and I'm like I said, as I'm kind of like piecing this episode back together in my head, it was almost, because this is the era of just like flipping through the channels, and you've got like 100 channels, so everything's kind of like discombobulated, which is like almost where I see kind of the origins of that like random humor, because when you are seeing like 30 seconds of just all these like really discombobulated, like super detached images, and there's like no context for it, and you can't, like, you could go back to it.
The channel surfing.
Yeah, with the channel surfing, which again is like the basis of like Robot Chicken, where you get like just these like bits and images. It takes that like variety show element and then just like adds that like unexpected aspect to it, which, you know, is now like super, super commonplace for us. But it seems to be like very, like I said, I don't know if that like 2003 was the height of that random humor, but it's like bits and pieces of that like.
I would even say they got in early on that, on the rise of this, because Larry says in the future, all entertainment and humor is randomly generated.
Yeah.
By robots.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I mean, it's pretty creepy. Like,
Yeah.
if you to think that's 22 years ago. So,
I mean,
I can see where they would be putting that together because the writers are working in the forefront of computer generated animation stuff,
Yeah.
right? So that they're definitely aware of the technological advances that are going on. Nothing that we're dealing with currently,
Right.
but they're at least aware of, and they would be working in workflow pipeline stuff that's kind of emerging around then, just for digital video processing, where you're building process chains, right? So you're building those, exporting a video out of this and then assets to drop folder, watch folder, pull in, comp, compress. They're already living in that world, which is kind of reducing things down to algebra, right? Mm-hmm. So you're getting into this variables and constants world with your workflow process, but then also with the building of the digital assets of the cucumber and the tomato, and right, like making those things. So you can kind of see where they can see the scriptable ability, and then once you get to scriptable ability, and you get into, could they be randomly generated from something, you can see where that thought process would happen. That's that's clearly where we are now, where when you look at like AI chatbot stuff, especially like, Facebook, where they go through, oh, we're going to pay every Instagram creator all this money to please give us more stuff that we can use to totally replace you.
Yeah.
And I do see a world where on the other end, you have something like an Instagram feed that instead of it you being following creators on there that you like, it's literally every time you refresh, it's just live regenerating for you something that fits exactly you. So here's a recipe channel, but you like barbecue, so here is a barbecue recipe. And you like salads, and here is, murdering the VeggieTales. Why would you do that? And then but you have those like immediately generated, and then the version that I see wouldn't exist. It would be completely ephemeral in that on-demand sense. And when you see that possibility now, it's obviously a tiny jump, right? But to go back and hear the opening of this episode, when that's what so much of our conversations are now, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to hear it will be randomly generated for you, and it's like, it's kind of where we ended up.
Yeah.
It's, it's like the, you read, the dystopian novels, and then you look at where we are now, and it's kind of like, did we just
recreate Skynet?
Yeah, are we just doing like everything that you interacted
are we just
with?
doing RoboCop?
Is Neuromancer's real?
Yeah.
And it is what I find interesting and kind of true is even the content is randomly generated. It is not the content that is randomly generated. It is the idea that is randomly generated. Seemingly. Even though the behind the scenes of this episode is that they had put out a couple of albums of like sing-along albums, and I thought, wouldn't it be fun to animate some as music videos? And then they also threw in people's student animations, and when they switched their animation software, they made a short film just to test out Maya to see how it worked. And that was the opera singing aardvark. That was what that was. So they just kind of threw a bunch of student projects and things people were working on in their spare time together, along with music videos, and thought the kind of accidentally saw into the future.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah. I will say I was not expecting Pirates of Penzance.
Yes.
Oh, always expect Pirates
I
of
was
Penzance
not-
from Veggie.
Loves Gilbert and Sullivan.
These are theater nerds in the extreme.
I was just really not. I was not. I'm watching the whole thing, and then all of a sudden, he's in the library with "I am the very model." I'm like, we're gonna do that.
Lyle the Kindly Viking is an episode that's entirely Gilbert and Sullivan joke based.
Yeah, and we're about to get another one.
Yeah. Like, it's at the end of the day, VeggieTales is really just a love letter to Monty Python on the stage.
Yeah. Phil Vischer was very inspired by Jim Henson, Monty Python, Terry Gilliam movies.
Yeah.
and Gilbert and Sullivan, and you can see the little touches of it. And there was and I don't know if the story of Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. The French peas were on top of the wall taunting Joshua, like Monty Python,
Straight from Monty Python.
just the French pea bit from Monty Python.
Well, it's aesthetically, visually, like the way, and like I didn't know this, but as you said, like this has other like student project stuff or side project things meshed in. So maybe I'm seeing more than what every episode is like. But this episode, at least, like aesthetically, it was fantastic. I mean, it's time locked in a way, but it's still not, just because. So even like with the crudeness of the cutting edge for then, but now you consider the crudeness of the 3D animation stuff, it's still comped like beautifully.
Yeah,
like it's creepily well done.
Well, it's also like such their aesthetic that like when they've updated this, also like the recent stuff that they've had, that's because it's still 3D animated. The characters are like ostensibly the same, right? But like it doesn't look like VeggieTales to the point where like going back and watching, especially from like this era of the episodes, it's like this is so their aesthetic that even if there is a little bit of clunkiness and you can see like a little bit of like glitching, whatever, like that's their style. So it's like. Part of me is like, is it nostalgic, or is it just like this is what VeggieTales looks like, in the same way that like if you updated, and I've used this before too, like new SpongeBob just doesn't feel like SpongeBob to me, even though it's the same character designs. It's just the animation's too crisp. It takes it out of that cartoon world almost.
It's like new Simpsons.
Yeah,
it's like not.
I want that little bit of like funkiness to it, like a nice blue cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The one that was about greed that was in there, where the guy and the dog.
Yes. Yeah.
So is that like a side project thing?
That was just one of their one of animator's side projects.
Because I would like to know where that person ended up, because that like the use of the placement of the eyes on the characters was actually really interesting.
Yeah, and it was impressive too for Big Idea. They had hands. That was new territory for them at the time.
Yeah, it's also like you see some of those like side quests throughout some of the episodes in this era, especially. Like I know I watched Joseph, but you have that like little animated bit where it goes to this like. It's a very different animation style for the dreams, and they were like really experimenting with like mixed media almost. And Lyle the Kindly Viking, where you have those like sets that they have, and then there's like you start to see this around that era where there's definitely some like animation that's like plucked from somewhere else and like incorporated into the VeggieTales world, and it's like really seamless and it's really nice, and it's like I'm a huge Amazing World of Gumball fan, so it's like it almost feels like that watching it, or it's like, oh cool, they took all of this like these other animation styles and like mixed it so seamlessly into this one project, and again that like really sets the aesthetic for it, and it's so cool to see, and it really holds up, where it's like there's this show that I love that's really funny and well written, but also like the art side of it is incredible.
Yes, and I'll say shout out that short was called Lunch. It was directed and conceived by an animator named Keith Longo, and he lives in Spokane and still works in animation.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Spokane, Washington.
Look at you.
Look at him.
Great job, Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
You're killing it. You've killed it. And by it, I mean lunch. But yeah, I did love. They did kind of get to a moral at the end to learn something, so it's not just a collection of random shorts.
What was the moral? I don't even remember what the moral was.
Oh, well. After this...
This is why I never became religious. You know what I mean? Like the whole that was a banging sermon. I learned nothing. Yeah, sorry, I'm very dense. I'm too dense for your church.
They did. If I were to extrapolate from this, what the moral, the lesson learned is that even though the world is changing, or things are changing around us, don't concern yourself or worry or fixate on it. Just know that you are loved, either by God or by your community, by the people around you, and that they, and by extension God, will support you.
The fun fact moral in the Big Idea Wiki is God loves us no matter what, even if we have a good day or a bad day.
Yeah.
Because it's random. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think they had to like cinch up the moral with the Junior Asparagus song at the end, but we'll get to that when we get to the end. I think the first song was "There's a Hole in the Bottom of the Sea."
Hole in the bottom of the sea, but luckily there was a log. Was it a log or a tree?
I believe it was a log.
Or the log in the hole in the bottom of the sea.
Yeah.
Well, then there was a bump on the log.
Yeah.
On the bottom of the sea.
I mean, you knew that was going to come. You knew that was going to happen.
But what you didn't know was the frog.
Yep.
The bump on the log in the hole in the bottom of the sea.
Now that it's funny because I was like reading through this transcript real fast, and I was like, oh, I think I had the soundtrack to this because I was like, I don't remember the animation so much, but I definitely can sing all of these in my head.
So you know about the fly on the frog on the bump on the log
Yes.
and the hole in the bottom of the sea.
Yes. Do I know about it? Do I know it personally?
Well, I was going to ask about the wing on the fly on the bump. Oh, no. I've messed it up.
Yeah.
The wing on the fly on
the frog.
on the bump on the
On the
log
bump.
and the hole in the bottom of the sea.
Yeah. I think what they're trying to get to is
The flea on the wing on the fly
Right.
on the frog on the bump on the log. and the hole in the bottom.
Okay.
it's the rule of the infinitesimal. Is that right? Is that what we're getting
Yeah,
to?
yeah, yeah.
Like the
That's-
solution to Zeno's paradox. That's what they're
Yeah.
trying. That's what they're trying to imply.
It's
Clearly.
yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
With autotainment.
Yeah. No, every culture has their
Their approach,
version of-
Their version of
to,
this, yeah.
to solving, why Achilles could be the tortoise. Everyone needs to know
Exactly.
this.
Yeah, it was fun. It was cute. Are you familiar with Zacchaeus?
With what now?
Zacchaeus, who was a wee little man. A wee little man was he.
Is that from the episode?
Yes.
I may have
The
blanked out.
It's
first-
also from the Gospels. I don't remember which one.
Is that the tax collector in the tree?
Yes.
Okay.
There's
yeah,
a lot of
that
tax
was-
collectors in the Gospels.
well, they had some issues.
Yeah.
Capitalism's older than you think. Liz.
Yeah, I guess that is what they let us do for forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were the outcasts.
Mm.
And if you want to say be kind to the outcasts, there's the clear one to point to is that guy that's coming to take.
I really
So
like.
why did he have to get out of his tree? He seemed like he was happy in the tree, and then Jesus shows up.
he
Was it
was
Jesus,
a-
right? That was Jesus.
Wee little man. Isn't the story that he's like too short?
to see. Yeah, Jesus was speaking,
Anti-Semitism.
and Zacchaeus was too short to see Jesus, and so he climbed up into the tree to get a better look at Jesus.
Okay.
And then immediately,
Jesus, charmed by this.
oh, he charmed.
Well,
That's not how I took it. I took it that he was like, "Get out of my tree." That's how I saw it.
Jesus owned the tree.
Well,
Jesus owned nothing else.
I just feel like he took possession. You know what I mean? It's not that he owned it. It's just that he was just like, "Get out of that tree." Like you're not a bird. You know, like what day were you made on? What day were you made on? That's how he approaches most things.
Show me
in
your
my
serial
mind.
number.
Jesus was so wise beyond his years, he never climbed a tree. He was like, "This is my craft. I'm a carpenter. I would never climb a
Yeah,
tree."
get out of there. Get out of there. Those are stairs for tomorrow. You're climbing around in.
Yeah, that cherry wood's not gonna polish itself. I don't know how wood works. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was listening to an interview with Father James Martin, who's a Jesuit priest, and he had wrote a book called Between Heaven and Mirth, about joy and laughter in the Christian, or Catholic in this case, religious tradition. And there is a debate among priests for, centuries. Did Jesus
There are a bunch of them.
There's
Oh,
a lot
sorry.
they love to fight, and they love to debate each other. And there's a debate among priests that did Jesus ever laugh? And he points to the story of Zacchaeus to be like, of course Jesus would laugh seeing this man climb this tree. Say, Zacchaeus, what are you doing up there? Get down. You don't have to. You can come to the front. It's okay. You don't have to fight all these people.
So the thing that I'm like really fascinated by animation wise though is the choice to make Paw Grape look absolutely Hasidnik. What's going on with the hat? Well, we gotta.
Well,
What's
that was
up
the
with
hat
that?
he wore. That was the Jed Clampett hat he wore initially.
That's true. I'm just like, why does he not have payos coming out of that? What is this? What is this?
So the character of Paul Grape originated in an episode called The Grapes of Wrath. But
I see what they're doing.
he was the patriarch.
Literalism. Literally.
Yes.
Literalism. Literalism is literally the problem. But go ahead.
He was the patriarch of a grape family from the Grape Depression. I just thought of that. The Grape Depression.
I like how tickled you are by that right now.
I'm sorry, I'm amusing myself. Sorry to do that in front of you.
A grape depression is just wine
Well,
because, the complaining from the pores. I can do puns. I just don't.
yeah. And he that was his like Great Depression era hat, and so he held on to it. But as Paul Grape got more Jewish as the show gone on,
Yeah.
I see.
I think at first I was just like, oh, he's folksy, and I'm like, nah, he's got 10 kids now. You know?
He knows where the tunnels are.
Yeah.
The tunnels. So
Grapes grow on vines. They're not tubers.
it's true. I was referring to this.
I know what you're referring to.
I can't.
I love when that news broke and everyone I know sent me the link to it as if I cared at all. I was like, yeah, my people be up to some stuff. I don't know. All right. I don't know them. I don't claim them. My
understanding is they're based the Hasidic, especially the New York, are basically like the Duggars in America.
Yeah, I was like, look, don't worry. Just let them make you some sandwiches. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, if there's like a local big question about the Catholic cults that had a gelato shop
Yeah.
on 280.
I was talking with someone about that at work the other day, and I was like, someone was like, they got really good gelato, and they were describing it to me, and I was like, oh, the place across from the fish shop? That's culty. I don't know anything about it. That's culty. And they were like, no, it's straight up a cult. And I was like, okay.
No, the Catholic Diocese of Birmingham straight up will not let priests perform mass for them. So there's paperwork now.
It's like the
Well, hang on, back up here. Sorry, I thought you were still talking about VeggieTales. There's an ice cream shop.
Yes.
And
Gelato. be
gelato.
specific.
Yeah.
excuse me.
What's the
There's
difference? I don't know.
There's a $4. There's a gelato shop, and the Archdiocese of Birmingham, or the Diocese of Birmingham,
So-
will not allow the priest to do mass for the people who run the gelato shop.
So the gelato shop is run by a group that calls themselves the Caritas. They believe in that the Virgin Mary appeared in a field in Shelby County,
Okay. I'm not saying she didn't, but go ahead.
formed their own little religious fundamentalist community
Nice.
based on that.
Nice.
They own a gelato shop, I guess is the front-facing part of the organization. They are culty. They only see each other and teach their children in their own schools and stay very culty, to the point where the Archdiocese of Birmingham says that their priests cannot perform mass for the Caritas.
So were they previously did they consider themselves Catholic? I guess Virgin Mary they're Catholic, yeah. So they're a new Catholic subset.
Yeah.
So like if you're tired of the old Catholic, boy, do we have news for you. We got a brand new shiny Virgin Mary sighting.
Yeah. And if
Come on
you
down.
think the regular Catholics are too liberal, you can go with
Well-
the way more fundamentalist splinter.
So, what, did you know anything else about them? Like, are there any more like conservative or more fundamentalist details
My
other than
understanding
the
is
fact?
their schooling is a lot more rigorous and fundamentalist, and also not a lot of people know about what they're up to. There's a lot of
Yeah.
allegations thrown around.
I'd like to go. I'd like
Yeah.
to be real blunt when I ask people like about stuff like that. It's like, what are y'all? What are
going
y'all
on back
going?
here?
What y'all got going on here over there?
What's happening?
What's all that about?
What's this?
They'll give you
What's this?
pamphlets.
What's with this new Jesus? I mean, what's he got going on?
Second Jesus, but yeah, it was.
Are you talking to him? What's
Me?
he saying? Not you. This is how I'd be at the ice cream
gelato
at the
shop.
Okay,
gelato
yeah,
shop.
You'd have your
And then we can get some gelato, right?
you'd have your small
Yeah,
cup. Of,
I mean, we get gelato.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not gonna pay for it though.
Oh no.
oh,
See how they react to that. You know what I mean? Let's see how Jesus-y you are.
Yeah.
me, a poor
Yeah.
sweet
A
tooth.
poor sweet-toothed wizard down on his luck. Just
I woke up under a bridge this morning.
I brought you these fireworks.
I
Please
brought
give me
you-
gelato.
I love the idea of fireworks as currency. There's no better there's no better Alabama hobo wizard than that. Just like, I have these crazy bills at a deal. I can
Oh, yeah,
swap
there's
you
the whole like
for some dental care.
There's the like whole thing on the internet of like if Shakespeare had been was written to be performed in Appalachia. I like the idea of the Shire being in Shelby County.
More or less, right?
Yeah.
You know, Gandalf is the townie that's like been outside and traveled, you know, the southeast.
Yeah. He's like, I have tales of the Blue Mountains.
I bring tales of Atlanta. What? I heard the traffic goes on there for years.
Atlanta is Isengard.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what would be the southeast Mordor?
Miami.
Well, yeah, you said that immediately, and I went, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yep.
So, the next song.
And New Orleans is Minas Morgul.
What would the southeast version of the Undying Lands be, do you think? Just Gulf Shores? Tybee Island?
Orange Beach.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, I've often said, you know, when my father moved to Florida, you know, I used to joke like, no, I think the proper aliyah, the proper returning is to go to Florida. I've changed my mind. The proper returning, to make aliyah, you go back to New Jersey.
Where it all started.
Yeah. And the Undying Lands is to move to Boca Raton.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when you go into the West as an old Jew. That's when you return to Valinor.
Take the pen. Take the pen.
You get on a boat and you go until your soul gives out.
So how do you feel?
I'm just quietly agreeing. Sorry, I was just quietly agreeing.
Sorry, this is the part of the show where we go deep into Tolkien lore.
Yeah, it's got to happen once an episode. We've already mentioned Joseph.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you feel about Gilbert and Sullivan, Matt?
I mean, you know, I had never seen a cucumber do it, but like, or that was an asparagus. Am I correct?
Yeah,
I knew it
Archie's
was.
the Gilbert and Sullivan stand.
Archibald Asparagus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, they
is
have
given.
names.
I like, and I also like how you didn't say Archibald. You said Archie.
Well,
Your
he's
old
like a
friend.
friend, yeah.
Your old close dear.
We go way back, me and Archie.
Yeah, no. Archie's my Archie's like my favorite character. So
The asparagus.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love me some Archie. He's so silly.
He's very much like a John Cleese personality.
Just a glib, aloof, just like, I'm here because I chose to be, but I don't really know what's going on.
He's an anthropomorphic asparagus. He chose nothing.
That's true. he's the ultimate, just like, they're paying me. Why not?
I may be a little more classy than this, but that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. It's
They're
a job.
fun. They're fun.
It's a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. This is the episode where the VeggieTales characters get the most Muppety.
Mm-hmm.
We get it kind of through the songs, a sense of their personality. It's very Muppet Show
Yeah.
inspired with this, where you go on and you see them do numbers and see kind of behind the scenes. So you see all the different types of personalities and characters that you get. The French peas, the Paul Grape, Archibald Asparagus. I feel Junior Asparagus, no relation.
Yeah.
No relation.
No
No
relation.
relation.
Interesting.
The not to get back on the Tolkien, but the asparagus are like the elves. You know, they're the tallest, and they're potentially like the who like the precursor was about. You know, so there's like many of them in the world, but we're not focusing on them now. The other vegetables are like the hobbits and the dwarves, but there are several. We get more asparagus than we get anything else. So there's the
That's
asparagus family, there's Junior, there's his parents, there's a couple of like side character asparagus, there's Archibald Asparagus, there's many asparagus in this world.
Carrots.
What is that? What's the meaning there?
They're easy to animate.
Is that all it is?
That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, they can't be easier than just a tomato
I think they just
or a cucumber.
They come in bunches, you know.
Honestly,
I don't know.
I think they started with Junior Asparagus and worked backwards.
Yeah.
Something that would be small compared to Bob and Larry as a child vegetable. And then, well, you have Junior, so he needs to
Do you
have
get
Mom
any
and Dad.
carrots? I didn't
Oh,
see
yeah.
You
any.
get carrots. Her name's, there's a carrot, a baby carrot named Laura.
Okay, but no, like adult carrots.
Oh, there's some adult carrots.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, they got carrots, peas, gourds with identical sounding voice.
And they're just throwing the tomato in there, even though that's a fruit. We're not getting into that.
We're thinking of vegetable in more of a spiritual sense.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Like I said, as vegetable is a culinary term, so it's there are a couple like botanically. There's like 2 or 3 like true vegetables in the same way that like it's arachnids are not bugs, but they're kind of like lumped in with like insects. But like most vegetables as we know them are fruit. Technically from like a botanical sense, so like a lot of the vegetables that we'll use like when we're cooking are kind of either like in between, but for the most part they're going to be technically a fruit. So there's like a squash is a fruit if you want to get like really down to it, and like there's also bananas are technically herbs. Like there's like a lot of the botanical category versus like what we actually like use in the culinary sense is very varied. So I think like veggie can kind of cover anything that you could eat outside of a dessert.
And Phil Vischer was, people were yelling at him on Twitter for affirming trans people. And one of the things I said, it is ridiculous for you to affirm trans people. That's like saying that Bob and Larry identify as fruits. To which Phil said, Bob and Larry are fruits. They identify as vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Take that, transphobe.
Yeah. I love Phil Vischer.
That's Phil Vischer, unproblematic king.
We love Phil Vischer.
And creator of vegetables. Creator of VeggieTales, not creator of vegetables.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's
one of my favorite things. So I've definitely talked about this before, but on his podcast on the Holy Post, I listened to everything at 2 times speed. And that's how they got his voice to make the Bob sounds, is to like kind of speed it up, to like pitch it up a little bit. So I was listening to him go on Phil, not Bob, but Phil going on a rant on the show. I can't remember exactly what the topic was, but
probably
he was
against Christian nationalism.
Probably. And he was like really angry about something. And I genuinely think it was about Christian nationalism. And he's just like so mad. And he's going on a rant and he's like, I can't believe these people fall for this. And he's just like going on and on. And I was trying so hard to like take it really seriously. But I was like, Bob the Tomato. Go off, King. Like, incredible.
Speak on it, Bob.
Yeah.
Those pitch shift things are like so fun to play with. Like, that's when I did the animation that was a sidewalk, and I just did all the voices in it, and I just made the pitch shift, settings and saved them for each character, so I could just kind of mildly change my voice, but get all the different ups, downs, and whatever, and it's good on them for just doing it simply with that, because like I lost a week of like, this is way too much fun. I am a squirrel. I was really way too into it.
Well, and that first episode was animated by like 4 people.
Yeah.
And so
that's the way to do it.
Yeah. Nobody else could do the voice. So they're like, well, I guess it will be us or nobody. Phil Vischer's wife, Lisa Vischer, does I think still does whenever she can. Junior Asparagus. Yeah. So it's the first kind of Bart Simpson.
It's such a good vocal performance. And like I said, my favorite part of Lisa Vischer as Junior is that she's like a classically trained vocalist. And she manages to get Junior to sing so perfectly off key that you have to know what you're doing to do it.
Right,
like it's not it's clearly not a bad singing voice. It's clearly somebody who knows exactly how to get like just off
a half note. Yeah, a half note away to cause that dissonance.
It's so perfect every time. I'm like, it's so good. Because Junior is dedicated to like just singing a little bit off, not enough where it's like, okay, so, like this is somebody trained who can like get it just off.
Not off enough to be unappealing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so after Pirates of Penzance, I thought You Are My Sunshine was just sweet. It was just sweet.
That's the one with the like piano. Yeah.
That's a weird song to me though. Like the song itself, people loved like singing it happy.
That's such a sad song.
And it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They had to change the lyrics to make it not sad.
Yeah.
They did. They took Please Don't Take My Sunshine Away, and it's like, thank you for being my sunshine today, just to make it less about, I don't know, death?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I think the actual song's about, the actual song's about a murder-suicide.
Yeah.
I'm just making that up.
Yeah,
but like,
I'm confidently saying it.
I was going to yes and you on that one too. Now I want to actually look it up.
You got to be careful. I'll pull a middle-aged, confident white guy and just make statements. You know what I mean? Like, it's, frogs are a type of bird. A lot of people don't realize that. I got a lot of thoughts about gynecological medical procedures.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lyrics, and they did change it to "You have been my sunshine today."
Today, and that's.
Sorry, you have been my sunshine today.
I mean, this is a show for children, so I guess you do.
Yeah.
You don't want to swing at the
Mortality.
yeah the funeral side.
There are hand-drawn cartoon flowers around Larry when he is singing this on the car that they're on. I love the set
The little
pieces.
truck.
I love the CGI hand-drawn set pieces.
Is that CGI? It's not CGI.
Well, like the
Clearly, that's a scan-in.
The set pieces are hand-drawn.
Yeah.
But they're put on CGI.
Yeah, and then
Like
they comp
paper.
in. Yeah, they comp in the CGI stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I like it whenever they have like the Muppet Theater cheapness aspect to it. I assume that would make the production go a lot faster. Crank out a video sooner if you don't have to render.
It does
a
help.
full
Yeah,
title.
I like to do the what I say is like the Playhouse effect, right? So you do those 2D pieces, and you can kind of move them in a very 2D way, but in the same way you would in like a theater. Yeah,
Yeah.
so waves are a good example. Like waves for an ocean, you cut these, you just move 3 boards around, and it's like, oh, we're
flash
on
this
the
to them,
ocean, right? But doing that with animation is also fun because you get it. Like it's waves. You don't need to.
There's a lot of that in VeggieTales. You might want to.
I'm gonna end up like
You're gonna end up binge
yeah. I'm gonna
watching
end
the
up
rest.
like binging VeggieTales, and next time you guys see me, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna be militantly middle of the road Christian.
You're gonna have joined the. You will have taken over the Billy Graham Evangelical Society.
Has he? What? So where is VeggieTales on the religious spectrum? Are they a general kind of like middle of the road, like like Christian, but you know what I mean, but not.
I mean, Sarah, like we've said on here before, like I grew up on it. I'm Jewish, and a lot of my
And
Jewish.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
So that's
there
the
was
first thing we learned.
She was guarded from the
If
Jesus.
only they had made Jesus a vegetable, this would be a very different show.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I had Jewish friends who had watched it too, like, 'cause it was on like public television. So a lot of people knew about it. I think when it came out,
But it didn't have the
Bible verse.
They didn't cite the sources at the end.
Yeah,
You
when
know
it
what I
was-
mean? Like
when it
if
was
you
on
had been getting the
television, they didn't-
citations.
Yeah, when it was on television, they didn't have the Bible verses.
And like I said, like the where like Bible, like Esther and the Daniel episode, all that, like we would watch in my like Sunday school. So like it was around, like it was a good tool because it wasn't particularly denominational from like that. There was no like Christian messaging. It was just, and the thing that I love about the like Bible episodes is that they are direct, like stage direction from the text. They're not adding commentary. They're not adding any sort of bent on it. It is literally, here's exactly what it says. Here are the lines. The only thing they're adding are jokes. So it's like really accessible, and there's no outside influence for the most part. And then I know I think too, just because of the animation being so cutting edge at the time, that I think it had a wider reach than just like Christian kids or like kids in like any sort of like religious school. I think it was just one of those things where it was like, oh, this is cool, and it was on television. So like even people I know who like didn't grow up with any particular like religion, people around like my age, a little bit younger, are familiar with VeggieTales, at least to a degree. And I think a lot of the silly songs, especially like early YouTube, kind of got popular just because they're silly and they're good and they're not religiously inspired at all. Sorry, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say the problem that so much Christian media, and I mean say so much religious media, and even to a degree, people have compared LGBT movies and Christian movies in this respect.
Yeah.
Is that so many of them are propaganda first.
Yeah.
They are trying to get their message to you first before telling a decent story.
Yeah.
And I think how Phil Vischer pulled off VeggieTales and the conception of it was he is not trying to proselytize through the show. He's trying to tell a show that has the assumption that of Christianity, has the storyteller has these beliefs and they're just assumed.
He's like the John Waters of Christian entertainment.
That is mad, but I love it. Please come on our podcast, Phil Fisher. Ignore the last
Or
name.
John Waters.
Or John Waters.
John Waters, please don't. We're begging you.
I would kill to see what John Waters would have to say about an episode of VeggieTales. I think
He'd have some thoughts. I promise you that.
But yeah, it's VeggieTales is not propaganda
Right.
first. It's
But could it be?
it has been tried.
It has been tried. What do you mean? Like, did people like?
There was a kind of crummy Netflix version that came out later on, and the tone of it was a lot more Looney Tunes, with like it was what Animaniacs made fun of.
Right.
It was called VeggieTales in the House. They had new, different designs for the characters, the same voice cast more or less, but the episodes were more like Looney Tunes shorts with the wheel of morality, turn. What is the lesson that we are to learn at the end of the episode? And it, like Netflix is wont to do, they did 2 seasons and canceled it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but
Could we weaponize? No, sorry.
Listen, I'm sure like in 2002 in the Bush White House, there was some kind of conference going on.
Yeah.
A League of Shadowy Figures to be like, how do we...
And this is
can we get Larry the Cucumber?
Can we just get one jihadi vegetable
Can we get
to make
Larry
our
the Cucumber to make a point-by-point case on why we should invade Iraq?
case? Yeah.
Saddam has weapons of mass destruction. We don't need to send nuclear... I'm sorry.
today's episode, kids, we're going to learn about fracking.
See, that's where it would be now, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there would be like a fracking's good, like the PragerU VeggieTales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you're halfway through a Pirates of Penzance song, and then the lyrics are just turned into I know a lot about fracking.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Lions Led by Donkeys episode about PragerU last night, and I'd paused it to do laundry, and had paused it for like a good 30 minutes and forgot what I was listening to. And where I restarted it, it was just a PragerU video clip that went on for like 3 minutes. And I forgot what I was listening to, and I was like, I kept listening because I was like, what is this? What is happening? I was like, oh, I'm literally listening to a podcast about it right now. Okay. It jump scared me, and I like kept listening because I was fascinated. And I was like, what is this? I was like, I don't want to know this enemy.
Yeah. There was a rumor that Daily Wire was going to pick up VeggieTales, and Phil Vischer got ahead of it and be like, I have no ownership of it anymore. DreamWorks took it out from under me in 2004, so I've had no control over VeggieTales for
a vegetable
so long.
would Ben Shapiro be?
What? String bean. I'm string bean. He'd be.
Hopefully something you can mash.
Yeah.
But the sorry, too hateful. I got everybody froze when I yelled that.
I'm trying to think what would be a.
I was about to be like, I would never compare him to a potato. Potatoes have a lot of value and they feed people.
That's true.
They're
I was
very
just-
nutritious.
What's shuckable? I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm just trying to think of violent acts you can do to a vegetable.
Oh, I panicked. I was just thinking of what is a Jewish stereotype vegetable that would not be too anti-Semitic to call Ben Shapiro. Rutabaga? I don't know.
Artichoke. no.
Artichoke. Some kind of root vegetable.
Be a leek.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah, no, but also, like, and I've said this on the show, that this entire episode's going to be me saying, I've said this on the show before. But, you know, one of the things that doing the show and having the guests that we've had on, especially like where we are, you know, we've had a lot of people who have come in. Most of our guests have been like members of the queer community in some form or another, who for the most part have a pretty like moderate to severe degree of religious trauma. And VeggieTales is still a place that's like safe for them, that they still like find a lot of joy in, that is still like enjoyable. and they're like, oh, I totally want to be on the show to do this episode of VeggieTales because it's like meaningful to me in one way or another. And like, I think my favorite example of that was when Flapjack was like, I love Madame Blueberry because this like to me was a drag queen and like informed my sensibilities about drag and also like was so positive. And I think there's a lot of people, again, like especially like around our age, who have experiences like that with VeggieTales, where it's like there was something that we saw in it that was like inclusive and representative of all of us without it being propagandized, and it was just part of this universe where everyone was like, yeah, no, like we learn things, we go through hardships, because like VeggieTales also doesn't shy away from darker materials. Like there's
like how dark? Like the Kennedy assassination? What are they going to do?
I mean, there's like they'll talk about death. Like there's consequences. There's
they
like
did Daniel in the Lion's Den, and they were like, we're going to throw you to the lions, and they're going to eat you, and you're going to die.
Yeah.
Like they'll do Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah, like they get
They're
straight up thrown into fire.
They get
like,
thrown in the fiery furnace, and you think that they are going to be roasted vegetables.
Yeah, like they don't make anything cutesy. So having characters like really I mean, they do make some things cutesy.
I'm into perpetual tickling.
Yeah, for the most part though, because like again, this is for children, so there are like materials, and like we've debated about whether or not some of the consequences are appropriate, given the fact that this is a world with consequences. But like,
for context, in the Esther episode, the king sends members of Esther's family to the island of perpetual tickling.
Yeah.
So
Instead
like
of killing all of the Jews.
Right.
You know.
And, like there's some back and forth about like what we think now would be a better option, but that's also, why we have the show. But there's
genocide is
a whole
little. One person being in danger is enough that kids can handle. Genocide on that scale, little too much.
I go the other way. I go the way on that.
Yeah, tell kids about genocide straight.
Early.
I mean,
I say early.
You'd have been a great day school teacher. Like, I'm always, every time anyone's like, I work with this one girl, and she was like reading some like Holocaust literature, and she was asking me questions, and I was like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Project Barbarossa. Let's talk about like all of the atrocities that happened in Ukraine and Belarus. Like, let's get into it. She was like, why do you know all of this? And I was like, I went to a Jewish kindergarten. Like, they start you young.
Yeah, it's like numbers, colors. All right, now here's the deal.
Numbers, colors, Nuremberg. Let's go. Like, you're like, okay, when snack time?
I did. We could talk about. We kind of gloss over Erie Canal. It's a fun version of Erie Canal.
Another day school classic.
Yeah. About a mule.
Named Sal.
15.
I remember when we learned this song in music. When I like pulled up the images from this episode and was like looking through it, I was like, oh wait, this is the one with the Erie Canal in it. Because I remember watching this and being like, oh, I know this song. My dad, I have like a vague memory of my dad being like, you know this song?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you know this song? I was like, it's a classic. You kids don't know. I have this on vinyl. Constantly making my father question everything.
And I did want to end on, I'm curious, Matt, what did you think of the last song, My Day, the Junior Asparagus praying song?
You have to remind me on that one.
It was basically a song that was Junior at the end of the day about to go to bed, praying before going to sleep, recounting the events of his day to God in a very conversational way.
My only problem with that is the conversational nature of it. You mean? I really feel like it should be more formal.
Sitting in a formal...
but I just, I don't... I get the idea that they're trying to go with about, the singing and, the personal communication with, the singular deity that's responsible for all things. But I kind of feel like, put your manners on.
All right.
Let's use proper
titles.
A little more sir happening. Or ma'am. I'm an apostate. I'll say ma'am. Like,
well,
El
Shaddai. Shad means breast. So good. Nurturing.
Yeah. I mean, it's plural. It's a plural anyway. Anyway.
Listen, if you know the opposite of Total Recall, the one-boobed woman.
Yeah, is God.
Vasectomy, I guess. I
Okay,
don't know.
yeah. I was jump scared by Junior's straight up dog.
Yeah.
Like, where did that
dog,
come from?
his
Underwear on the bed? It's like pants? Why do you have pants, Junior? You don't have any legs.
I wasn't watching that heavy. Like,
Okay. I look at the details. My brother's room was painted with this cloud motif when we were kids. So it was like, did everyone have that in the late 90s?
cloud. Well, Andy's room from Toy Story, I think, inspired the nation.
Yeah. Okay. Is that where we all got it from? I don't know.
But it reminded me of two things from Sky Jitani, who is frequently on the Holy Post, wrote in his book With, which is
I give it back to you.
You give it back. I have an extra copy. I'll bring it back.
I quite liked it.
It talks about how Christians should relate to God on a very personal level. And say that so many Christians think of themselves as being under God, where God is this sort of divine taskmaster, or they are over God, where they think they can control Him. I believe that is the prosperity gospel. But he argues that really God just wants a relationship with you as an individual, as a person, along with what your obligations are to the community. But in relating to God, that being much more intimate and personal. And the two stories that he shares are one of Billy Graham, who was being taken to be interviewed on 60 Minutes. And one of the production assistants on 60 Minutes asked, does the Reverend want like a room to pray in before he goes on to TV? And someone from Billy Graham said, no, that won't be necessary. We don't need anything special like that. And they said, oh, that's okay. Well, will the Reverend want to pray before going on TV? And they said, well, he'll be praying in the car on the way to the station, and he'll be praying probably while he's getting his makeup done, and he'll also probably be praying during the interview. Just like a kind of constant connection to God. And he also, Sky Chitani also mentioned a quote from Mother Teresa. They asked her, what does she say to God when she prays? And she says, I don't say anything, I listen. And they say, well, what does God say to you? And she says, well, he doesn't say anything, he listens. And I think it's kind of about a constant connection and relationship with this sort of, well, God, the divine. It's hard to.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah.
Thank you, Judaism.
Yeah. So like our. Okay. Yeah. So there's like you can be a part of like your minyan. There's your 3 prayers a day that we see in Daniel. There's kind of like formal prayer, and then we have 2 categories of prayer. So there's prayer that is, your prefabricated prayer, so like your 3 times a day, and then there's your divinely inspired prayer, your like on the cusp prayer, and they have equal importance for different things, right? It's Kavana, and I used to teach a Hugim on this, and I'm forgetting the words right now, but your 3 times a day, if you're meeting like with a minyan, so if you have like 10 people and you're all praying together, that is important for your community, right? So like you don't have to know these people, they can come up organically, they can choose to meet however you want to do it. And then there's certain prayers that you will say if you have this minyan, if you have this quorum of 10 people. And then that's the prayer that, again, that's like your whole community being a part of this, being like, we're congregating, we're like having this like, almost like this fellowship if you want. And that's really important as a function of that community. It holds everyone together. It like brings human connection into this like practice. And then there's, not everyone is beholden to that also. So if you haven't been B'nai Mitzvah yet, in some communities it's only men, in some communities it's everyone. It just depends. Women can do it if it's like just them, Also like women traditionally in more like Orthodox congregations aren't required to do it. Because we have other obligations to our community. And again, in more like Reform, Conservative, some Modern Orthodox, it's not always the case. And then there's this like organic, naturally like inspired prayer. And that's sometimes, it could be just saying like the Amida like out of your prescribed time. So if it's not, your morning minion, you just feel like saying the Amida, and that's like coming from like an organic place. That's really important. And if you're just like, God, what is up? Like, I got some stuff going on. Like, I just need to talk about it. We do have, it's kind of understood, like, there's certain times where you can, like, quote unquote, ask for something, right? You're not technically supposed to ask.
Except on the day of his daughter's wedding. Then he can't refuse you.
Kind of.
He can't refuse you.
Kind of. So one of the ways that one of my rabbis had described it, he was like, sometimes, you're down on your luck. You need to ask your dad for like $20. But if you go to your father every single time and you're like, I need $20. I love you doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean nothing. It's still your dad, still your dad's kid, still like that bond, that love. But after a while, it's like, I know you need $20. And like eventually that $20, like you're not going to get it every single time. And it's going to feel like it's personal that you're not getting your $20. Sometimes you just got to be like, Dad, let's talk.
I love that conception of prayer as being call your mother.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily love to compare. I have mixed feelings about comparing God to a parent. Sometimes it's the only thing that really works, and sometimes I don't like it.
I see where you're.
I go back and forth on it, but sometimes it is just like the most like human way to kind of like go into a concept. So like with Kiva Kavana, that's kind of the most like tangible example that I can kind of come up with. So like that was the example that I would like use in my classroom. It was like, you can't ask your dad for $20 every single time you see him. Yeah. And I use dad because I was raised by my dad, but like it can be whatever parent you want it to be. God is non-binary. But there's a prayer that is more similar to this, where it is a little bit more informal, because while you do need to have like some reverence and some like respect, at the same time, if you approach your relationship with Hashem as completely unapproachable, that kind of distances you. It's more that like formality is more for that quorum prayer, for that like minyan, for that like we have gathered here today.
Yeah.
And then that's like on Yom Kippur, when you ask to be written into the book of life, when you ask, that's, the one time a year we're allowed to be like, hey, I've messed up a little bit. I need you to like kind of like pretend you did record, like that's.
And even in the song, Junior mentions the parts of a day where he was less than perfect.
Yeah, and like,
which you should not have brought up, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
Listen,
keep that to yourself, bro.
Confession's important. You gotta keep that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Spoken like not a defense attorney.
Save that for Yom Kippur, Junior.
One of the only funny things Bill Maher has ever said was on his Johnny Carson set in like the 80s. And he said that he grew up
before his soul rotted.
Yeah, before the rot set in. He had a bit where he said that his mother was Jewish, but his father was Catholic. So when he grew up, he was kind of raised in both traditions. And he said that one example was he would go to confession and say, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I believe you know Mr. Cohen. I'm like, that's a good Johnny Carson joke right there. That's like a Tonight Show set kind of joke there.
That's fine. I'll allow it.
Yeah.
The rest of his 60 years of life is a shame, but other than that moment was nice.
The whole subsequent career.
Just being a creepy
He had a handful. I'll give him a handful. But what were we talking about? Prayer,
yeah.
Meditation.
I mean, yeah. So the meditation angle of prayer is fascinating, and then like through human history and those different ways of approaching that psychological, you can see it as a head clearing. You can see it as a recentering. It's called many things in many places. All the Abrahamics see it as prayer, and it's ritualized.
Yeah.
I didn't know the degree that you were explaining of the different types. Whatever, I didn't know that, but I always like the conception of God as a self. So you're in this. You're trying to explain the creation of everything, right? And you're trying to understand the natural world around you and the interplay of people and society and whatever, but you are, through your senses, mentally creating this thing. And then the concept of God as the self, as trying to extract that from you as this outside force to kind of remind you that all of this is your interpretation, and it's also thereby limited by that, right? So everything from object permanence, which we have a term for now, which once upon a time we did not, to cognitive bias, like all of these kind of things that we have gone on to create entire academic fields of study and understanding. There's a very early human society need to try and relate these concepts to each other and try to frame those things. And I do think you get, from some of those ideas, you wind up in the ritualized nature of it, right? But trying to understand yourself, your interpretation, causality in the world, your own causality, the causality of other things in the world, and then concepts like infinity and all that come into play. I think those get built up, and then you get the ritualization that's, tribalism in its early forms and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, it all goes, into from the Abrahamics to Hinduism, Buddhism, and 92 bazillion other, interpretations and deviations. But the aspect of prayer that kind of still hangs around, which is meditation. I mean, that's what your people are doing, the same behavioral thing, even if they don't see that as speaking to God or speaking to a deity, speaking to a creator. They're still seeking the same cleansing, the same recentering of self. And a lot of what I think when people go like, oh, I talk to God or I speak to God or, giving them the answer, like some of that's like literally just you got to sit down and clear your head because there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of things going on. And that's like a beneficial thing. And I think, confession is therapy. Like, I mean, that's the act of what's happening there.
One of my other favorite kind of like examples of like prayer, and I, really through the Jewish lens, I don't know how like well it translates into other traditions. But like there's another aspect, especially like, so I, was modern Orthodox for a while, so I wouldn't be part of a minyan. And there were a lot of times during service where it was like really hard for me to sit through all of service. Like I would go in, do like my Amidah, and then I'd be like, I gotta do something. And I was in charge of the kitchen. And one of the few things that you're allowed to do on Shabbos is prepare food. You can't like start the fire or anything, but you can like cut and whatever. So, my role was to feed the community. So I would be sitting there in service being like, I can't pay attention, like I'm not feeling this, I'm not into this, like I would listen to like the Haftorah or whatever, and then I'd be like, okay, but like the prayer part I would just get lost and be like, I don't like this, like, I like to hear it, I like to feel the rhythm of it, but there was something about those like Saturday morning services where I'd just be like, I can't do this, and I'd have to get up and I would go into the kitchen and like make the food, and like I would say, like I feel like I'm like praying through my knife, like I'm praying through like the act of like doing, because like a lot of the prayer in services, again, when you're meeting with your community, that prayer is less individualized and a little bit more community focused. It's a more external prayer. And I was like, the way I pray externally is through this like act of service.
Which I just want to say, I'm cutting you off, but only because you said you pray through your knife, and like that's a hell of a metal lyric. Just so you know, if you ever start a band, like that's
the credit does go to Rabbi Abraham Herschel. Is one of my favorite prayer related lines in my faith background is, so after Rabbi Herschel was talking about, because he marched very, very famously marched next to Dr. Martin Luther King at Selma, and he was holding a Torah scroll the whole time, which is actually at Bethel, which is pretty cool. When he was talking about it, and they were like, why were you there? And he was like, I was praying through my feet. I felt like my legs were praying. And like, that's so true to that, like, the Jewish idea that like your words are great, whatever. Like you can pray, you can do every word by the book. You can say everything you're supposed to say. You can like sit through every service. You can say everything at the right part. But the most important thing that you do are your acts. How do you can talk all you want, and like that's the whole point of like teshuvah, and like you can skip Yom Kippur services, but you have to make sure that you made amends with the people that you wronged. Like Yom Kippur services mean nothing unless you sit down with somebody that you wronged and you're like, here's what I did.
It's just a party without the work, right?
Yeah, so like
Well, James 2:17 I had looked up. Faith without work is dead.
right. So like the
Deuteronomy 21 through 22, which is real creepy. Don't look it up. Go ahead.
wait, is that where they get swallowed by the earth after the quail? No. Okay.
No.
I was at the rabbinical law of who you can and cannot. Not on a VeggieTales podcast.
Yeah, it's not a VeggieTales podcast. It's not for that. Edit that out.
But that idea of you're praying through your action is like really important and central, and sometimes it's like when after a death or something, right? When you're like ritually unclean, you have to sit shiva. Like that's the time that you have to like protect yourself, because you can't love somebody else if you can't love yourself, right? You got to protect yourself first before you can.
Which is
the
not
prophet
true.
RuPaul.
Which is not true. I want to point that out. For $100. No.
You define a prophet RuPaul.
You're as a chef. I want to ask you something as a chef,
Okay.
if I may. As a chef and as a biblical religious scholar, I want to ask you something. Leviticus, familiar?
we know her.
Okay.
Okay.
Leviticus, opening of Leviticus.
Yeah.
Absolute favorite opening of any religious text. I think everyone reads it wrong, right? Because it's going through all the rites of preparing things for the temple and whatever. And I'm like, this feels like a dude that's got a temple, right? And he's trying to get people to bring him the food he likes to eat. You know what I mean? Like, you got to prepare it this way. Don't
Right.
do it like that. Definitely do no fucking onions. All right, no onions.
Well,
we don't do onions.
That's deep cut Hasidim, but that's
But like, the entire opening just sounds like, a couple of dudes at the temple. Yeah, people are going to be bringing food in here. He likes goat. He's not really a big fan of
Right.
duck. Not really a big fan of duck. Leave the duck out of it.
yeah.
Kind of into carrots. Carrots are nice. Carrots would be nice.
Carrots
A
are
little bit
great.
of grain.
Yeah.
But if you can do that, make sure you cook it like this.
Yeah.
Medium well.
Yeah.
Well. I can't do medium rare anymore. That's what it feels like. So next time you're sitting around reading Leviticus, which I assume is every Thursday.
It's Wednesday.
Read it with that point of view, because
I love like rabbinical law for just this town 3,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Like this is like city council ordinances are in the Bible.
Well, then no, literally though.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is true.
Yeah, the notes from a city council meeting are part of it.
And if
like
you,
modern day, the opening of Leviticus would have been like, you know what God really likes is ice cream. I don't know if you guys know that. He likes Little Rocky Road, and he wouldn't mind it if every day about 5:30 you guys showed up with one. I think he'd be super happy to bless all your stuff if had a Little Rocky Road, maybe some pizza.
I mean, from like a. So I'm gonna. It's also an interesting text and document on like the economics of the time to look at what was most valuable and what was most abundant and what was like going to be, because a lot of times the
it's a temple and point of taxation as well, right?
Right.
Like you have
So it was like partially taxation, part of it was ritual, but also a lot of times like because you're supposed to like get rid of that first harvest, right? But a lot of times that first harvest like is either not going to be very good. As someone who does grow vegetables, usually that first tomato is not going to be delicious. The second tomato,
He's not getting a show. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
The second tomato, it's going to be all right, So like there is, and I don't love like. It is fascinating to look at it from a point of view of like, okay, you have all of these like rules that, all the kashrus laws, right? And we can make fun of them like all day long, and like Juzu too, where we're like, oh, it's just silly sometimes, right? But like when you look, and there's like the idea that like don't see the kid in his mother's milk, because like milk gives life, and you need to like respect this animal that you've just killed, because not only was it like devastating to like kill the kid, but also like think about what the mother was feeling too, and like if you mix the two together, you're not honoring that life. And like I think that's beautiful, like that's a value in your food. And there's so many other traditions that like like with Jainism, you can't eat potatoes because you're disturbing the earth, and like the people who find value in that's like something that's kind of like non-negotiable because you have that level of respect, and like there is a form of prayer and meditation through your diet.
Oh, no, I was just going to say the mixing meat and milk. It's like, first off, if you're putting a pork chop in your glass of milk, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you have much bigger problems. Like, if you can't manage that separation. Like, listen, I can't eat a bowl of Cheerios unless I got a little ham in it. You know what I mean? Like, well, all right, well, you know what? You need to see a series of physicians. That's not good.
Unfortunately, that does
Hameos.
does deprive.
Hameos? We're out of hameos!
Oh no. How else am I gonna have a balanced breakfast?
They can't have hamburgers and you're joking, or cheeseburgers and you're joking about?
Yeah, I'm genuinely shocked that the United States of America has not invented hameos. I really feel like we should have arrived at hameos by
Pork
now.
cracklings.
Yeah, just pork. Yeah, it's just pork rinds.
Pork rinds and milk
as a cereal. Oh my god!
Just like Mother used to make.
The sweet salty breakfast, just like Grandma used to. Oh, that's
Crackling
awful.
up.
So gross.
Someone has, and I'm willing to venture someone is currently eating that as a thing.
Some
Struggle meal.
cold hot pockets, or what are they? The pizza rolls, some cold Tostinos.
Totino's pizza rolls, just in milk, just eating it, and but with like an anti-Semitic scowl. Just they ain't gonna stop me.
That is all of Cajun cuisine.
It's all of Cajun cuisine. It's like, we made this great stew, and you can't have any.
No.
But was this band? It's in it now. Oh, you wanted some shrimp in your ham milk? Well, there you go.
There it is.
Etouffee.
I'm from Louisiana. You're like, oh yeah, spell it.
And it would also, like, there have been times, in kitchens where I've been, like, either cleaning vegetables or, like, cleaning scallops or, like, cleaning something that is treif, and, like, being like, this does look like it might give me some sort of disease if I just ate it like this, like maybe there's some, like, real validity to that. Because, like, the amount of times, like, even in restaurants, like, before we knew how to, like, not just die from, like, literally anything, like, how do you know you're not supposed to eat those mussels? Like, who's gonna tell you? You can't eat those. They've been sitting out for too long.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you mentioned Jews washing their hands. Jews weren't getting sick from plague because they were washing their hands.
All the time. Yeah, and staying further away from, like, the city centers. I was listening to an episode of, what was it? I don't even remember. It was one of my medieval history podcasts about how, like, during the plague, the church would do these before they, like, realized, blood might not be the best thing. They would do these, like, processions with local monks, and they would flagellate themselves to, like, repent for the city, and everyone would come and watch this procession. And, like, if you got a little bit of their blood on your handkerchief that you were then, like, putting on your face, that would cure your plague. And, like, this spread so fat. Like, every time that these processions would come to town, because you just are exchanging body fluids for, like, an hour and a half throughout the whole town. And Jews were like, we're good on that. Yeah. And they would stay away and wash their hands, and everyone was like, you're clearly witches. And we were like, you're the ones exchanging blood with randos. Well, this plague is happening. What are you doing?
On the upside, we're going to get back to that. I think RFK Jr. is going to get us pretty close to the self-flagellating healthcare.
You need to get the plague whip out.
The plague whip. I had to explain to one of my coworkers, our sister, or one of our provider receipt, invoices was, like, on our invoice clipboard, and it was from a provider I've been ordering from for a very long time. And usually when I would order a gallon of milk, it would just say gallon of milk, and they now, like, put homogenized on there on the, like, invoice. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is RFK's fault. And it just said milk homo gallon. And my, like, 21-year-old coworker was like, what do they mean homo gallon? And
you're like, well, bad news. We have bad news for you.
Well, it is gay milk. It's from gay cows. But also they do have to let you know that it's homogenized now. Otherwise, He was like, wait, homogenized? I was like, they don't teach you about Louis Pasteur anymore at school.
They don't. We don't have school anymore.
That's true.
We went through that last night. There's no more school.
There's-
School's over.
School is over.
School's out forever. Well, thank you for doing this, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank you for going along on this.
When are we going to start the podcast?
Yeah, exactly.
I thought we were just hanging out.
When are we going to start talking about
When are
vegetables?
we going to start talking about?
We haven't been recording this whole time.
Not that we're all warmed up.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful voyage of autotainment through the world of the future.
I'm gonna come back because I'm probably gonna. I'm gonna come back and let me see how many VeggieTales I can get through and if I can summarize the entire production of what they've done.
Okay.
I like this.
That's
idea.
a project.
I feel like we could form a cult around this. You know what I mean? Just like an easygoing cult.
Okay.
Like
I
we're not
a chill
really
cult.
in. You know what I mean? But we're in.
Friendly cult. Like a
Yeah,
chill cult.
that feels like it goes real bad quick, doesn't it? Like
Friendly.
No, we're like a friendly cult.
Like, we're
It's
just super
totally-
chill. You can do
Anyway,
whatever.
Mr. Koresh, come here and meet our friends.
I love admit you're a cult at the top, straight away. If anyone asks,
Yeah.
it's like, no, we're a cult.
No, we're a cult. Yeah,
But it's fun.
Yeah. And then that way it won't be like,
It's like Church of the Subgenius.
yeah.
Yeah.
It won't be like, when I was listening to Conspirituality, or I was reading Conspirituality, and like halfway through the book, I was like, did I grow up in a cult? What? Like,
Wait a
hold
second.
on.
Bad news, everybody.
I was like, well, that explains a lot. All right.
Well, and this has been Have We Got a Show for You. We don't have a verse, really.
We don't.
We don't have QWERTY,
We don't have QWERTY.
so we just got to wrap it up. And remember,
God made you special, and He loves you very much.
And he owes me $20.
Bye.
Goodbye.
It's very